coronavirus. It's going to disappear. One day it's like a miracle. It will disappear.
So it hasn't disappeared because we're still doing the virus segment more than a year later. After he
But
said
Trump
that,
has largely disappeared, though.
thank God. I mean, he hasn't disappeared into a jail cell yet, but we see what happens.
At this point, I don't give a fuck where he goes. Just like off my TV screen. Just stay off Twitter.
Yeah, I mean, my anxiety is way lower, not knowing that.
Way lower, son.
He has access to nuclear launch codes. So now other people do. So, and they're shooting at Iran warships. But that's another story. So right now we have the situation with the vaccine. I know everyone's pretty excited about the CDC updates. Like pretty much, if you get the vaccine, you can run with a mask, do all kind of things without a mask. But at the same time, the rest of the world is kind of going up in flames in a really bad sense of like they're actually burning bodies, mass burning bodies in India right now. I don't want to show the footage here. It's really dramatic of just burning pits of bodies. India,
but you'll show us footage of like old white people
doing
rapping.
That hurt.
No, don't think I forget about that shit.
Yeah, we got like rating warnings for that. We got banned on Facebook. So
we need a fucking trigger warning.
So you should wait for what's gonna happen tonight. You think that was a trigger warning? I'm giving you a trigger warning with tonight. Christian breakdancing. So right now. We have the situation in which like the vaccine is actually working. It's been like studies along. It's been passed around enough that we actually see the benefits of it in the studies and the public studies. But at the same time, people are not sharing these patents for the vaccines. Even the people who are actually capable of reproducing it. There was one example in this article I like because everyone's talking about Bill Gates saying that he doesn't want to share the patents. One of the richest man is saying that, which is kind of weird.
Yeah, but he wants to share other kinds of shots with dark-skinned people in Africa, though.
Yeah. But not give those African people the resources to make their own vaccine. You want to experiment on them, but not give them the resources to.
But we're supposed to trust them, though.
So this is what's happening here, and it's kind of strange. No, it's not strange. I mean, but it's strange in the sense that if you saw any other book or any other action movie about these kind of situations from like, I don't know, people remember Independence Day when they found out they can bring down the aliens and they went on the Morse code. Boop, 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 boop. Imagine they didn't do that. Imagine they kept it to themselves. Now it's not Morse code. It's just we don't need to tell them how to defeat the aliens. So pretty much this is what we're doing right now. We're not going to tell other people how to defeat the coronavirus. Fuck those people. It'd be like Lord of the Rings not lighting the flames on the mountains. Like, no, fuck that.
Yeah, but the thing is, and it always bothers me, and it still bothers me that we have this American exceptionalism, us first. When you have a virus that made its way around the globe and it does not care about your American exceptionalism. In order to protect the United States from the Rona, it is in the United States' best interest to make sure that all countries, both developed and developing, all get access to the Rona vaccine. Because people are going to start traveling again. And if you go into places where people are sick, with high viral loads, high viral counts, and you might be vaccinated, you may still end up getting sick. And so I feel like it's, again, the race to create the vaccine was all great. That's fine and dandy. But everybody's rush to try to take all of the world supply, I felt was super short-sighted.
Yeah.
And I think it's showing again this need to be first and selfish and us over everyone else in a situation where the virus don't give a fuck about any of your, artificial borderlines. It's going to spread.
I mean, look at this stat right here. Like you said, it's really short-sighted. The article says that. It says almost 430 million doses have been dosed so far, enough for 215 million people. But all those doses are being given to the richest 16% of the world's population already. And I remember we talked about this program a few months ago. The COVAX program was supposed to be for like poor countries, developing countries, whatever you want to call it. Countries that have been exploited and don't want to give them money. Fuck developing countries, but they only got 38 million doses, and that means according to this, they won't be able to vaccinate the South until like the year 2023. So that's a wild thing right now. Even though we have good news here in the United States, we might still be, what does it mean if we can't go anywhere? Or the fact that even deadly variant might be created because of outrageous things happening in other countries.
And that's what's happening. I mean,
So
when people started talking about the South African and the UK variant, one of the things that people need to understand about viruses is the way that they reproduce. So they can't do any of the reproduction themselves, which is why there's debate whether they are alive or dead or non-alive or non-dead. Yeah, because they don't do what other living beings do in order to promote itself around the world. So what it'll do is it'll hijack the coding mechanisms in your cells and then inject a code that tells your cells to create a replicant of the virus. Now, because the virus is using your cells to reproduce, a part of your cell's genetic code then gets added to the virus.
Mm-hmm.
So even, if you've ever had the Rona has altered your DNA. You have also altered the Rona's RNA, since it is an RNA virus. You've altered forever the RNA. So every single time the Rona runs through a person and it spreads to somebody else, a different version of it, and it just keeps changing little by little by little. You remember the game they used to have us play as kids in school called Telephone?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The way that the virus works is when the virus starts at one end of the line, by the time it reaches the end of the line, the virus is going to look completely different because it's picking up genetic code from every person that gets infected down the line. So it's in our best interest to make sure that everybody has access to the vaccine, at least the people that trust it, because I'm not about forcing people to do stuff. But I think that it's important to make sure that people are inoculated to stop the flow, because the more people it makes the rounds against, the harder it is going to be to defend against it, even for fully vaccinated people who have been protected against the current variants. So by trying to hold out on the poorer countries and say, recognize our authority, we're better than you, and that we have no time for that, because every single time the virus replicates in another host, it changes. So what you're running into the risk that all of everybody getting vaccinated, going through the sore shoulders and feeling sick for 30 to 36 hours, all that stuff will end up being for naught, because you wanted to flaunt how wealthy you are to the poorer countries. Newsflash, they know how rich you are. If you want to stay protected, make sure they are protected. Do something for someone else other than yourself with no expectation of payback, and maybe this will not be a complete disaster.
Yeah, this is why, when it comes to understanding government agencies, or even listening to them, and the CDC in some ways, it's still a federal agency. So, even I know people remember when Trump was president, when it happened, the CDC was actually listening to Trump and actually throwing away documents, doing all kinds of things. So that kind of really kind of made me nervous. But now flip over.
You weren't already nervous from all the other shit you saw?
Yeah. I mean, everything. But I mean, at the same time, there was a moment when they had people it seemed like there were people in CDC was actually going to stand up to him, and then it felt like all of a sudden they weren't going to stand up to next to him. That's what made me nervous.
Right.
But now it seems like, okay, Biden's president, so we all can go to sleep. We totally can trust him. So I'm nervous about that thinking as well. But
we can't go from one extreme to the other.
Yeah, so I want to click this article real quick, because now the CDC is saying that you can not wear a mask. But I want to play this clip from them, not just talk about it, because this is kind of news that's happened today.
There are many situations where fully vaccinated people do not.
She's reading off a paper, so
particularly if they are outdoors. as shown by the
Yeah,
graphic.
it's clear
on the
that
right.
she's reading off a paper.
If you are fully vaccinated and want to attend a small outdoor gathering with people who are
You could at least use a
vaccinated and
teleprompter.
unvaccinated,
I'm sorry, I'm stop talking.
or dine at an outdoor restaurant with friends from multiple households, the science shows if you are vaccinated, you can do so safely, unmasked. On the CDC website, we have posted examples of numerous outdoor activities that are safe to do without a mask if you are fully vaccinated. Generally, for vaccinated people, outdoor activities without a mask are safe. However, we continue to recommend masking in crowded outdoor settings and venues, such as packed stadiums and concerts.
So New York City is a
where
packed
there is decreased
stadium.
ability
So
to maintain physical distance, and where many
The projects is a packed
unvaccinated
stadium.
people may
yeah, so
also
these
be
I don't know
present.
that yeah,
We
that's the
will
thing about
continue
these
to
instructions.
recommend
It's
this
just like
until widespread vaccination is achieved. Now let's talk about what you can do indoors. Here again, we have unvaccinated people and their risk on the left, where nothing has changed. Risk is indicated and masking is required. We then show the markedly decreased risk for vaccinated people on the right. Given what we know about COVID-19 vaccines and their efficacy, it is also safe for those who are fully vaccinated to return to the activities they love doing inside while wearing a mask. The guiding principles we released today and the illustrative examples compare the safety of several activities if you are vaccinated or not, and the difference is clear. As we gather more and more data on the real-world efficacy of vaccines, we know that masked, fully vaccinated people can safely attend worship services inside, go to an indoor restaurant or bar, and even participate in an indoor exercise class. Although these vaccines are extremely effective, we know that the virus spreads very well indoors. Until more people are vaccinated, and while we still have more than 50,000 cases a day, mask use indoors will provide extra protection. The examples today show that when you are fully vaccinated, you can return to many activities safely, and most of them outdoors and unmasked,
mask the whole
and begin
name.
to get back to normal. And the more people who are vaccinated,
So it doesn't matter if
the
you're
more
vaccinated or
steps
not.
we can
So
take towards spending time with people we love, doing the things we love to enjoy. I hope this message.
Yeah, I can't go to the barber and keep a mask on because you know they got to shave my goddamn face.
yeah,
You know?
it's almost like you gotta take your oxygen mask off real quick in space. Like,
Oh man.
it's like,
Yeah, I want to talk about an article that I read yesterday, the day before,
let me just pop
about
up.
the efficacy of the efficacy of the social distancing guidelines. I thought it was pretty interesting that they were saying that for when you're indoors, which when you think about it makes a lot of sense. There is really no difference between 6 feet away and 60 feet away because of how air circulates around the room.
Yeah, remember we showed that clip of the infamous particles going to people's mouths and all kind of things, like
Yeah. So if you don't have a mask on and you're 60 feet away, you have the same risk as if you were 3 feet away. It's
that Korean study, it had the person who got the coronavirus was like 20 feet away from the person in the restaurant. So it didn't matter.
So a lot of people were upset about not being able to go to restaurants, but it's like, well, why do you want to pay all that money? I don't know. Like I would be happy if I was forced to be a little bit more frugal with my money, but
yeah, I mean, eat a hot dog on a roller coaster. I mean, you could do that.
Hot dogs are not where it's at. It's just gross. But yeah, so they were talking about how unventilated indoor air, it really doesn't matter. I mean, if you're wearing a mask, it's safe to breathe indoor air for up to 20 hours.
Yeah, I mean, look at the.
But you've got 3 minutes.
Literally, the CDC doesn't change for vaccinated people indoors. Still wear a mask indoors. It still says that. It doesn't change that at all. It's like almost like a worthless update for indoors.
Right.
But outdoors is kind of a little change, in a sense. But indoors is totally the same. It doesn't seem like there's any difference. Wear a mask when you take a bus, wear a mask in the theater, wear a mask when you go to church, wear a mask when you go to sing in a choir for some reason. It's there. For
Well,
some reason,
yeah,
sing the indoor
yeah,
chorus.
So this is what I was touching on.
Yeah.
When you're in an indoor environment, the particles that come, your respiratory particles that fly out are going to fly. You're going to have more flying out farther distances with more velocity because of how hard you exhale when you sing. So if you're in a room full of people and you're all singing, the air is safe to breathe. As far as like you being safe from the Rona,
Yeah.
it's safe to breathe for about 3 minutes.
Yeah.
If before you start getting that elevated risk of
But
infection.
at the same time, it says eating at an indoor restaurant is almost as high as working out in an exercise class. So
Yep. I mean, I'd rather just eat at home anyway. I'd just rather eat at home.
when it
But
comes to outdoors, you can now it's like little you can wear a mask, except for you going to like a crowded concert or going downside New York City streets, because New York City streets can get crowded as like a parade or a sports event. When you
I'm not looking forward to that, man. I've been out and about a little bit over the last few days, and I'm not looking forward to being outside and having less space to move. Like, I hope all y'all motherfuckers stay home. Right? I'm gonna do my part by staying home as much as I can, but we don't really need to be seeing y'all in the streets. Stay your ass home. There ain't nothing going on in these streets.
I mean, that's good. So that's Black Power Magic Hour, the Twitter, Facebook, and we're on Twitch. We're on those platforms. Dr. with Genius, he's on Discord, not for Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. And then act.tv has over 50,000 subscribers on YouTube. That's wild. And so that's the virus segment, kind of a bittersweet one, I guess. The virus.